Hello everyone, Lily here. Welcome to my channel. And today I would like to do a video response to Anna at Astral Lady Tarot, who did a video recently concerning predictions using tarot and self-fulfilling prophecies. And I may or may not during my talk, depending on how excited I am, but I might show some cards from Journey of the Sacred Bee. But the thing is I might get so involved in my answer that I might forget. But I do have the deck in front of me. So what Anna was talking about is the possibility of hearing a prediction in a tarot reading. And with your own power, making that prediction happen. In the sense that you hear a suggestion that an event will happen in your life, and whether consciously or unconsciously, you move towards that direction, taking actions, making decisions and choices that will lead to that same outcome as predicted. And I actually agree it can happen. But on the other hand, I also believe that you can hear a prediction, and for that event to happen, your desires have to align with that prediction or that event that you think might happen. And I'll give you an example from my own life. Actually, several examples just to talk about the subject. One of them was when I was a child. My mother went to a tarot reader, and the tarot reader told her that I would become a librarian. You know, that was in my future, that I would become my career would be librarian. Now, obviously, you know, I'm not sure if my mother could have influenced me going to school or the choices I did, but anyway, as it turned out, because of several experiences I had in my teens, I decided that my career would be working in a hospital. And for circumstances that I'm not going to get into right now, it did not happen. I did not end up working in a hospital. I actually ended up working in business administration. And that's where I spent my career, in business administration. Two other events that were predictions to me personally from tarot readings and palm readings, if I remember correctly. And these talked about two events in my life. And they were both because it was a reading when I was 16, and there was another reading when I was 18 where those predictions, they were actually mentioned both. One of them was that I would marry either an immigrant or the child of an immigrant. The second one is that I would eventually leave Montreal. Now, they did happen. Were they circumstances that I set in motion to make these events happen? You know what? I'm going to err on to say probably maybe, but most likely no. And I'm going to qualify this by, you know, if you live in Montreal and you live in the downtown, well, you know what? 3/4 of the people you're going to come across from are immigrants or children of immigrants. You know what? So the thing is yes, I did marry an immigrant, but the thing is that it was more circumstances of the environment I was in than me looking for immigrants to date. You know, I mean, you know, this is the way I see it, is that I don't believe that, you know, I put in the back of my mind to every immigrant I meet to think, oh, is this going to be my husband? Is this going to be my husband? Because you know what? The thing is I dated other people than immigrants. You know, I dated English Canadians. I dated French Canadians, you know, that weren't that have, whose histories went back centuries. The other thing that I want to address is me moving away from Montreal. Is even though I did move away from Montreal, it wasn't at my instigation. It was my husband getting offered a job in another city. So the thing is there's no way I could have orchestrated him, getting a job somewhere else or being offered a better paying job somewhere else. So the thing is that, yes, those predictions did come true, but how much was under my own volition, I don't know. It's hard to say. So basically what I'm trying to say too is that, or a conclusion to this little part is if you're going to make you're going to hear a prediction, to make it come true, you have to take it on yourself to make it, to plan the events, even if it's some subconsciously. You have to take that desire in for it to be fulfilled, because otherwise, like my mother wanting me to be a librarian, well, you know what, it didn't happen. So let's get on to another point I want to make is, what are predictions to start with? The way I see predictions is trying to determine if an event will happen in the future. So the thing is if you get some cards and you get a message with cards that it's a possibility of something happening, well, you know what, it's in the future. So the thing is I don't think you can talk about a prediction as being anything other than maybe a wild guess, a calculated guess, or sticking your finger in the air and saying, I wish this happened. Because the thing is we can make a lot of predictions, and actually we do, in a way. We not only do make predictions, we also hear a lot of predictions every day. So some happen and some don't. Like I gave the example of my mother and me, and the circumstances surrounding that. The other thing I want to talk about when it comes to predictions, everybody makes predictions. They just call it something else. They call it planning. And I've mentioned this before in another video, and I don't remember which one. Yes, you have an agenda or a calendar, and you put some people will put all their appointments and obligations and things like that. But the thing is all, then they plan around all these events for the other things that they want to accomplish, to reach goals that they, to take the steps to reach goals that they want to achieve. Now, is it any different, by making a prediction that I'll be working, that I'll be doing laundry on Friday, any different prediction than being told, well, you're going to do laundry on Friday? I'm not sure if I'm making any sense here, but anyway, this is why I'm finding the disconnect funny, in the sense that, some tarot readers will talk, or sort of some readers will talk about how they don't like to use the cards to make predictions and all that stuff, and then they turn around and they show you their planners and everything they want to accomplish in the next month or the next year or the next 5 years. Well, you know what, those planning exercises are exactly that, predictions. Working in the corporate world, we had to make a forecast of what we're going to spend in the next year. Some of it was predictable, some weren't. And who hasn't been in an interview without being asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Planning or prediction? Same thing. Let's talk about manifestation and spells. To decide on a goal or something you want to achieve, people will make a plan, or will make a vision board, or will design a spell to manipulate themselves into a certain behavior to achieve a result. Now, is that any different than hearing a prediction and making a plan, or, making choices, making decisions to lead to that conclusion? I mean, in that sense, is predictions really that bad? Because if we're talking about manifestation and spells, it is a technique. From making from something you decided you were going to act upon. And whatever you decide to act upon, well, does it make a difference that you heard it in a prediction that aligns with you, or you get it from a suggestion from somebody is telling you, oh, you know what, I believe you should be, you should, you would be good at in this particular career. You should go and study it. And then lo and behold, you do go and study it, and yeah, you have a talent for that career. Now, is it something that, is that any different in the sense that, was the suggestion, was it bad for you to take that suggestion from someone else just because they weren't from cards? I don't know. You know what? I'm starting to think it's not that different. So, circling back to our predictions from tarot, good or bad. And I think, like everything, it depends. It depends on the question. It depends the answer. And does it make sense? Basically, is it wrong to ask for a prediction? And the thing is this is where I'm going to talk about some of the questions we might hear. That lately I've been noticing, for some reason I've been noticing these kinds of questions, and they're like putting the cart in front of the horse. Like one question that I actually don't like, and yes, that could be a self-fulfilling prophecy that doesn't serve someone well, but it's like, what will my future husband look like? Because we do hear that question and we see it. And it's the thing that, yes, if I tell you you're going to meet, you're going to marry someone that's blonde with blue eyes, well, yeah, I think you are setting yourself up to think that every blonde and blue-eyed might be your husband, when someone with brown hair and brown eyes, or even brown skin, might be better suited to you. Like you're completely erasing a whole part of the population just because of a prediction like this. So the thing is yeah, that's the kind of question I wouldn't want to answer. Just like asking a question without having either a plan or something in motion to bring it to fruition. One that we often see also is a question of, well, I want to know if my finances will improve in the next 3 months. And the thing is coming from a business background, my first question is, well, what are you doing to improve your finances? And you know what? If the answer is nothing, do I need to read the cards to tell you your finances won't improve? What do you expect for a reader to tell you? You're going to get a windfall? Someone's going to die in your family and you'll get an inheritance? Instead of actually, this is the question, and this is the kind of question that I've actually asked. Well, are you looking at what's coming in and what's going out? Like, what's your spending like? Are you trying to get a raise? This is when, like Anna's suggestion is, you can turn the situation around and say, okay, let's look at what can I do to get a raise where I work, or a better job, or improve my qualifications so I can get a higher pay. This is one of the things that doesn't make sense to ask me if your finances will improve if you're not doing anything. Or there was another one that what was the question? Someone was telling me, she says, I don't know if I want to be with this person. Like, I haven't decided if I want to be with this person, but I want to know what my future will be with them. And this is one of the things too where I said, well, the thing is that you have to decide you want a future with them in order to find out what your future is. And this is maybe part of the self-fulfilling prophecy, in the sense that you have to be heading in a direction to know what's going to be, what the situation at the end is going to be. It's like saying to yourself, I don't know if I want to travel in 2 weeks, but I want to know what my trip to Paris would be like if I went. And you know what? This is another thing. Well, I'll say, well, do you have a ticket to Paris in 2 weeks? So, I mean, it's one thing to look at the situation and deciding, saying, well, in the sense that, which is better for me? Is it better for me to go in 2 weeks, or or stay at home? Or, what will my 2 weeks be like if I go on this trip, or if I stay at home? So the thing is it's sometimes you have to work at the question to get at the essence of what you're asking. If someone is saying, well, I don't know if I want to stay with this person, but I want to know what my future is. Well, the thing is you have to look first at what's holding you back into saying yes to this person. And you know what? There could be all kinds of reasons. It could be something you notice, a red flag. It could be something that you're not ready for a relationship. It could be something that you recognize that, it's giving you, I don't know, it's giving you pause to not enter into this relationship, or there's, you're actually thinking of someone else. Like, this is the kind of thing, like, why ask how about asking, if you're asking of the future about someone, with someone, well, you know what? It's a confusing situation, and you'll only get a confused answer. So, or the thing is if you're unsure to be in a relationship with someone, you're already setting yourself up, in the sense that if you pursue a relationship and you're not sure, you could be setting yourself up for failure to start with. So the thing is that you might end up with a failed relationship anyway. So, and that could be just coming from your own reticence, without your partner being a perfectly good partner to start with. So, anyway, I think, is this all I have to say on the subject? I think basically that's it. Like, the thing is when you pick a direction to go into, things might fall into place where, you make things happen. You have a desire to go, and, the choices and decisions lead you to it. So, I'm still not, except for this, the examples I gave at the end, I don't know, I'm not convinced that getting a prediction in a tarot reading is actually a bad thing. So, you know, I'm not of the view that just because you're told something will happen, actually will, unless you internalize it. And yeah, I think most people now have grown enough that they're not so fatalistic, saying, "Oh my God, you know, like I'm gonna get pregnant when I'm 24, so might as well not go to college." You know, the thing is, you know, so basically is where I'm at. You know, like I don't believe that fate is set in stone, because we do have choices. So anyway, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just take a few minutes to show a few of these cards from the journey, because I didn't do any from the Keeper of the Sacred Bee. And people, I actually like this deck a lot, just because it is so colorful. And I think it arrives at a good time, because to me it's spring-like in the coloring. Although with the back being sunflowers, you know, it could be more fall, but it's really nice. So anyway, so I'll leave you with this. Anyway, so if anybody has any comments on the subject, you know, I'd love to hear your comments, because, you know, these kinds of discussions are always exciting to me. So anyway, until next time, have a good day.